Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to round 28 for Pure Speed Elite Series here at Richmond Raceway. Last week, it proved to be a tough week for several, but tonight, hopes are high and drivers are ready to hit the track. This is also going to be a very important race, as after next week, we will be hitting round 2 of the playoffs where only 12 will move on. So tonight is very important with what these guys can do. Hopefully we'll see them make up some points and positions, but we have a lot on the line tonight. And we also have Jordan McGraw in the booth as always. What's up, Jordan? How are you tonight?
Oh, I'm doing good, I guess. Just ready to watch some short track racing and we could bounce back from that wild race we had last week.
I know. It was a crazy, crazy race. And you guys, for the people who saw it, you know, is absolutely insane. So tonight we're headed to Richmond. Next week is Bristol. So a lot of short tracks, a lot of action that we're going to see tonight. I'm pretty excited about it. But we are in qualifying right now. We have Jacob Kerr. He is out on track. Let's take a look. 180 lap race tonight. These guys have 5 sets of tires and 1 fast repair. So there is a little bit of forgiving that goes along with the fast repair, but you really have to take it easy on these cars. And I gotta say, guys, I'm seeing y'all out in chat. What's up tonight? Thank you so much for tuning in. I really appreciate it, and I know these drivers do too. Jacob Kerr still making his lap. We have Cole Snyder out. You can see him in that 23. No time yet for him as he has just made his way out on track. We also have Andrew Wisdom. And Jordan, we were here in the spring where we had, let's take a look at who it was, but I do believe it was Andrew Wisdom who took the win here in the spring. So what do you think the chances are that we're going to see him sweep this race this season?
Well, it depends on what kind of race we're going to see. He led a bunch of laps in that race, to my knowledge, if I remember correctly. I might be remembering that one wrong, but I believe he led a lot of laps, so he's going to be one of the faster drivers here tonight as well. So it's going to depend on what kind of race we get. If we get a race like last week, then that's going to open up the doors to pretty much anyone in the field to get a chance to win this thing. If we get a long green flag run, then it's going to come down to who has the best pace, who can save tires, and who can navigate traffic better than anyone else. And for the most part this season, Andrew Wisdom has been able to answer the bell when that has been the task at hand.
Absolutely. You see Sean Blanchard, he is out here on track. Joel Conley, Tom Flitcroft, Andrew Wisdom. And let's take a look. We do have Andrew Wisdom as the fastest on the board at the moment. We'll see what these guys can do as more hit the track, but so far, not a lot of guys on track. I'm assuming that they're waiting to see what the temp is going to be doing, see how the grip level is, but in practice, guys, it has been very clean. I'm pretty impressed with tonight. Compared to last week, it was pretty tough out there. So I think we're going to see a lot different racing than what we did last week. But Jordan, right now, I'm only seeing one out there, and that is Joel Conley.
Yeah, I imagine a lot of these drivers are, what you said, going to wait as long as they can for the track temps to go down, especially with as important as grip is around this place. You noted it was very clean, but this is still a relatively tricky track to navigate. The front straight is incredibly slick, regardless of where you are on it. The rear tires want to spin really far out of the corner, almost all the way out to the start-finish line, so you have to be super careful. And so these drivers who are going to be trying to put the best lap time that they can on the board, they're going to be waiting until the track has the most grip possible.
Absolutely. I mean, grip is going to be huge tonight too, but you really have to take care of the equipment as far as the race goes. You're going to have to be on those brakes pretty well, but it's going to be a fine line between having that fast speed and taking care of that car, not using the brakes so much that you're absolutely killing those tires. So it's going to be an interesting run tonight, especially if we see those green flag laps. Matt O'Brien out on track right now. You can see his times right there. Looks like he is going to be P2 on the board right now. Andrew Wisdom still on the pole position for now. Cole Snyder in third. And I'll tell you what, Jordan, I was pretty impressed. I saw Doc Holliday, Mr. John Holliday, out in third or fourth, I believe, in practice. So I'm pretty excited to see what he can do here when he comes out on track, if he chooses to.
Yeah, he's definitely put in the work for this race. Not really known as a short track driver, but he had a good finish at New Hampshire, I believe third or so. That wasn't without controversy, but it was still a good finish for him, and he's looking to back that up, that type of run up here at another flat, albeit shorter and arguably tougher and tighter track here in Richmond.
Absolutely. Huge shout out to you guys in chat. Thank you so much. Thank you for the biddies, Hall. I really appreciate it. For you guys tuning in, Kool-Aid says temp is dropping, but not a big deal. So I agree with you, Kool-Aid. I'm hoping we have a nice long green run here. So I think it's going to happen. I think it's going to happen. We saw it in the springtime, and I think we will see it here tonight. It's been very clean so far, so I'm pretty excited here. Let's take a look. Justin Mons takes over the board, and you can see all these names lit up in purple. You know what that means. Those are playoff drivers. Second race in the playoffs. So, top 5 guys, and we have a mix. Number 6 is going to be Jacob Kerr, who did not make it in the playoffs simply because he didn't win in the short amount of races that he was here. And then we have a couple of more drivers that are also in the playoffs. So this is stacked pretty heavily with playoff drivers up in the top spots. Doc Holliday out so far. Number 8 on the board. We have Robert Reynolds, and he is number 9 on the board. We'll see if he can improve that at all on his second lap out. We have Charlie Mosley Jr. He is going to be P11. And we also have Samuel Harrell out here. Sean Burke. So we're starting to get a few more guys, but a couple of changes for pole position. I'm pretty excited to see what these guys can do. And you guys know, every time I interview whoever is on the pole, I always jinx them, so I am not touching that right now. I do not want to jinx Justin Mons. He's doing great out there. Andrew Wisdom still holding on to P2. We'll see what happens, but Blast from the Past says, lower the temp, better the grip. So you hear it there. Yeah, absolutely. Those tires, when that track is hotter, it's going to loosen that up a little bit. So that is good news for these guys if the temp is going lower. I want to go ahead and take this off to the playoff standings. You guys see it there. Andrew Wisdom after last week. A huge lead, about 40 points there. He's got 1076 with Justin Mons, who is sitting currently on pole. He's in second. John Honeycutt in third. And we have Robert Reynolds in fourth. Cole Snyder in fifth, tied with Michael York. And then we have Matt O'Brien in seventh with Christopher Fathke, who talking to him really cracks me up. He's like, this is probably the highest I will get, especially in front of Jamie Haynes and Joel Conley. So good to see these guys out here really mix things up. It'll be fun to see what these guys can do here tonight. Jordan, we have Jose out on track. I want to see what he can do here also. We've seen him run up front for several races, so I'm curious, what will we see from him tonight?
Honestly, don't know. We'll have to see. He had a really good finish last week, his best finish so far in PSES. So a strong result. I believe fourth was where he ended up, so he's looking to carry that momentum into tonight. Hasn't really been known for strong qualifying runs, but he has been a driver who's been able to stick around and keep his stuff for the most part clean and be there at the end. And he was able to put the 9th fastest time on the board there with a 21.884.
All right, I'm gonna go ahead and bring Justin Mons in the booth here. Justin, it is Eliza in the booth. How you doing tonight?
Good. How about yourself?
I'm doing great. I'm excited for tonight, and I'm going to hopefully say that you are going to stay on pole position. So you have a fast car tonight. What is your strategy going in to try to secure that win? I mean, you're doing great in points. So what's your strategy?
I just need a clean race. That's all I really need. Keep the car off the wall, keep the fenders on it, and keep it pointed in the right direction. That's the basics, but it's easier said than done.
So true. I mean, we have short track out here, so it's going to be an interesting night tonight. But I want to see you get it done, so I'm definitely rooting for you.
Thank you. Good to see this Game Advantage car starting on the pole for once.
Absolutely. Good luck out there.
Thank you. Have a good show.
Thanks. All right, you heard it from Justin Mons. He is out there on pole, and you know what that means. We're ready to grid up out here. These guys are starting to line up, and on pole we have Justin Mons in that number 41 car for Keffer Mons Racing. On the outside, we have Andrew Wisdom in that 14 for Nitro Motorsports. In row 2, we have Matt O'Brien in that 17, also Nitro Motorsports, and we have Jamie Haynes on the outside in that number 53 for Southern Canadian Racing. And row 3, we have Cole Snyder in the 23 with Jacob Kerr on the outside. Row 4, we have Joel Conley in the 62 with Doc Holliday on the outside. And row 5, we have Jose Ruiz in that 29 car with Bud Shearer in that 93 on the outside.
In row 6, we have Robert Reynolds starting 11th alongside Thomas Flitcroft in 12th. Charles Mosley and John Honeycutt make up row 7. Sean Blanchard starts 15th alongside Enrique Quinones in 16th. 17th is Hunter Johnson, who's a driver we've seen qualify well, so his decision not to put a lap down, we're going to see him come from the middle of the field. Thomas Harmon alongside him in row 9, and in row 10, it's Austin Collins and Dakota Kramer.
In row 11, we have Sean Burke in that 223 with Douglas King on the outside in that 64. In row 12, we have Mike Everidge in the number 9 car with Michael Bain on the outside in that 84. And let's take a look on row 13. We have Jorge Rincon in the 28 with Chris Fathke on the outside, with Adam Rowe in the final row in that number 15 car, and Samuel Harrell in that number 43. And guys, this is your field, quite a field. Not as packed as we saw last week. I was pretty surprised with how many cars that we saw out there. I think it's going to be a cleaner race tonight. We're going to find out, but I'm ready to see what these guys have, Jordan.
Yeah, it's not an easy track by any stretch of the imagination, but much better conditions and setup wise with these fixed setups than what they were dealing with last week. And as you noted, about almost 10 fewer drivers attempting to start this race. So this should be a much cleaner event. I know these drivers are hoping for it. The lights on the pace car are out, and we're about to go green here at Richmond.
We're about to go green, and let's take a look. We have Justin Mons on the pole getting ready to start us off here at Richmond Raceway. Second race of the playoffs, so this is huge, guys. So many points up for grab, and he has point leader Andrew Wisdom directly next to him. And guys, it's going to be a very, very close race. But let's take a look at Justin Mons in that 41 as he's getting ready to take us green.
Yeah, and those lights that went out on the pace car deceiving me a little bit as we take one more lap around here under pace laps. Usually at short tracks you get 2 pace laps in, so I don't know why I was thinking we'd get 1 there. But either way, they're working the back straight here, and we're gonna see what kind of what car the 41 has. Justin Mons, Andrew Wisdom, Matthew O'Brien, Jamie Haynes. This is a very, very familiar top 5 that we are seeing up here, and I'll be watching that 20 of Jacob Kerr as well. Pretty solid on these types of racetracks here on iRacing. So we're going to see what he's got tonight as these guys are now about to go green.
Absolutely. And here we go, green at Richmond Raceway, second race of the playoffs. We have Justin Mons going out in the lead. We have Andrew Wisdom on the outside. These guys are side by side. Andrew Wisdom falling back in line directly behind Justin Mons. And these guys look to be off to a great start so far, Jordan.
Yeah, nice clean start. The 9 car using that outside lane to try to get some momentum. He's going to look to the inside of the 41 here going into turn 1. Justin Mons going to run really low, pinch him down onto the yellow line. Not really able to keep him down here, but the 9 not able to get the throttle up off the corner. They're going to go side by side into turn 3. Wisdom not able to dive it down in there deep enough to clear him, and the 41 going to use that outside lane, and they have to be so careful because it is so slick coming off of turn 4. Really easy to put too much throttle into it. Mon sends it in there on the outside to clear the 9 of Andrew Wisdom as he retains the lead as they go down the backstretch into 3.
You know, he's got a super strong car tonight. First caution of the night, lap 3, and I'm hearing a lot of action back there. Let's take a look if we can figure out what exactly happened.
Big wreck.
Let's see if we can find out. Oh, somebody blinked out there. Let's try to find it.
Oh yeah, what happened there was the 93. It looked like he got almost into the wall, kind of cut it left as the 88 was really running him tight off of turn 2, and that hooks John Holiday into the wall, and then from there a relatively big wreck. The 50 gets a pretty hefty amount of damage in it, as well as the 32. So several drivers involved in that one. I think there were multiple drivers with some pretty big damage on that wreck.
Yeah, it is not showing me. I don't know why it's not, but it is definitely not. There it goes right there. Now you're seeing it. Oh, huge pile up. Definitely.
Ooh, 91 with a big impact, absolutely T-boned the 88, and the 64 nowhere to go. So, like I said, a really large wreck in the middle of the field here in the early portions of.
Our top guys, though, looking very, very solid. An unfortunate incident for our first caution. We are on lap 5 of 180. Still a ton of racing left to go, obviously. Let me know in chat who you guys are rooting for. I already see votes. Guys rooting for Honeycut, for Nitro, for FTR. So the whole team, you guys are awesome out there. Let me know who your driver is.
There are a few drivers who are going to have to go through their fast repair here. There are a couple that got very light damage. I think the 50 might be able to get away with just some slight repairs on that car, and I think the 32 might. He got some pretty heavy contact. So, yeah, I think a lot of these drivers. Also involved was the 60, the frozen car that you love so much. That 68 of Thomas Harmon, who won at Daytona. He as well was involved in that with some pretty big damage.
Yeah, really unfortunate to see. He's been a very, very strong car out here. Only a few races with PSES, but I've been impressed with the races that I've seen him in. And as Jordan said, he has won a race here just a few races ago. So we'll see what he can do here tonight. But right now, some damage for him. Ern sitting in 14th, saving tires is my pick. Sean Burke. Let's take a look at Sean here. Number 223. We'll see how he does. We've seen that's a very familiar name. Does a great job out here. Very talented driver. So I'm hoping to see him make his way up through. You bring up a good point. It is all about taking care of those tires. You want the long run to match with the short run here. You don't want to overdrive it the first part of the run. You will lose those positions. I mean, you really have to take care of your stuff and know when to let off, when to really push it. This is about a long run. If we can get it, I think we will. It's just these guys have to figure out their car and what it's trying to do right now. And once they can take care of the equipment, we'll see those long green flag runs.
Drivers are starting to double up now. Justin Mons on that inside lane managed to retain that lead from his first spot, and honestly the entire top 7 is still exactly as they started this race. The only change for position is in 8th position Jose Ruiz started 9th, So one spot up for him. John Honeycutt up 5 spots from his starting spot, and that's probably mostly due to being able to work his way through that accident. So not a lot of moving through and shaking in the front part of the pack here so far early in this race.
Justin Mons already off to a great start, man. He was all over that. We have Andrew Wisdom directly behind him. Let's take a look. We have 2 wide for third at the moment between Jamie Haynes and Matt O'Brien. These two just battling side by side, both playoff drivers. In fact, pretty much the top 5 are playoff drivers right now, Jordan.
Yeah, the top 5, all playoff drivers, all being real smooth here so far, taking it real easy, honestly giving each other a lot of room. Jamie Haynes were actually working that entire second lane in the racetrack with the dotted lines, giving plenty of room to that driver on the bottom. Matthew O'Brien able to get him clear. He falls down into 4th, but right now Andrew Wisdom trying to find his way around our leader, Justin Mons. He gets up to his bumper, but opts not to get to his inside. I think he wants that outside lane to try to diamond the corner a little bit. He wants that late apex to try to get a run, not really able to get it down to the yellow line that time through 1 and 2. We're going to see if he's able to do it through 3 and 4, that higher entry. As they go through 3 and 4, he's going to work his way up to the bumper of Justin Mons. He's going to stay tucked in behind him as they head back into 1.
He is just putting the pressure all over that 41, and the 41 is not caving. He is very confident in his car tonight, and I am absolutely loving it. Remember, guys, the 9, he's got the points lead, and it is a huge lead. Let's take a look at that right now. 1076 to Justin Mons, who is our leader right now. He's got 1,035, so there is a 40-point difference there. Very close for these guys in this race. And Andrew Wisdom, he's a very patient driver. He will not make any crazy moves. It is very rare that you see that happen. Jordan, wasn't he the driver that was struggling a little bit more than what we usually see last week? So I feel like this is a race to redeem himself.
Yeah, last week was a very uncharacteristic race, and we've noted how smooth he is. He's gotten the apron a couple of times while trying to set this pass up on Justin Mons, so I think he's still trying to figure out where he can run, what he can do, and trying to test his limits just a little bit, and maybe he's finding them. Hasn't hit the wall yet, though, which is good, but nicked the apron a couple of times, but nothing too crazy. But yeah, a race that he would like to put way deep in his memory last week. That was a rough one, but that was a rough one for a lot of drivers.
I think so.
We broke our caution counter, and I think we have enough cautions for the rest of the playoffs in one race. So if we could make it through the rest, nice and clean and green, I think we'd all be happy. But right now, Justin Mons still, as you noted, he is not caved under the pressure that the 9 of Andrew Wisdom has put on him so far, but still a long way to go, and we know Wisdom, always on the back half of these runs, is so good at saving his stuff and being quick. So we'll see what he might be keeping in the bank, or maybe he's pushing really hard in the 41 out in that clean air. Even at a short track, that just a little bit of clean air can go a long way. And having clean racetrack, nothing to distract you, maybe he's the one who's able to save the most tire here.
Absolutely. I want to give a shout out to Nacho Plays. He has given us a follow. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Hope you're doing well out there. Repeat what's up. Thank you so much. And he says his money is on Honeycutt. DX Mimsy says, my pick is Matt O'Brien. He has a fast car and a good spot to stay away from the accidents, and he knows how to place himself in the right spot at the right time. You know, I hear you. Very talented driver. He's kind of on his own little island. Quite a gap between him in second and also him in fourth, who's Jamie Haynes leading that entire pack. Let's take a look at that. They are slowly catching up to Matt O'Brien, but how these guys were battling back and forth earlier, that has definitely made a huge gap between second and third. But these guys are looking really solid, starting to spread out just a little bit, Jordan.
Yeah, our front two have absolutely checked out on the field. Matthew O'Brien, this is kind of what we typically see from him. He lets the leaders get out, and he kind of leads that second group. He kind of does his own race, runs his own pace, uh, a little bit off the leaders, takes care of his stuff. He's in a really safe position to keep that car nice and clean, hold on to that faster pair, take it easy on his tires. That's what he seems to like to do in these races, is find himself a nice place to run where he has good track position, but he isn't in a dangerous spot. And that seems to be his plan here tonight, once again, as he is running third right now, about 2.8 seconds, a little bit more off of our leader as they're working their way here. They're at lap 23 already of this race, so the lap's ticking off pretty quickly here at Richmond.
Yeah, really starting to get those green flag runs, and I'm on board with Matt O'Brien. He is really taking care of his equipment, just like Jordan said. He takes his time. He's not putting on too much brakes. He's not trying to spin it off, trying to get off a turn 4, trying to get all he can. He knows how to take care of his equipment, so he is a great driver to have your money on for a win here tonight. He knows how to take care of it, and he's going to have the long run speed. We'll see if first and second what they can do with their equipment, because they are pretty far up there from these guys battling earlier. Jamie Haynes still just a little off these guys, pretty well separated. It kind of looks like a similar gap out here. You have Jamie Haynes in 4th, Cole Snyder, he's out here P5, doing a great job tonight. We have John Honeycutt in P6. Joel Conley in 7th. Jacob Kerr, he is out here in P8 at the moment, a little bit off the field, and he's got teammate Tom Flitcroft in 9th, and Robert Reynolds, he is going to round out the top 10 here.
Yeah, looking through the field right now, the best battle on the racetrack is from about 17th on back. A little deeper in the field, the 45 of Enrique Quinones is looking underneath the 223 of Sean Burke. Behind them, those two are side by side for the 19th position. That's Jorge Rincon and Austin Collins battling there. So a couple of side by side battles in the middle of the pack here, trying to work themselves out, as the rest of the field right now just trying to pace these laps, tick some laps down, and take care of their stuff.
Yeah, much calmer race than what we saw last week. These guys are really, it's a tighter track here. Not a lot of getting loose. I'll tell you what though, when I was out on track in practice, coming off of turn 4, it is pretty easy for your car to kind of want to try to break loose, but these guys are handling that very, very well. And the longer this is, I feel like the tighter they're going to get. So it's really helping these drivers out. Too wide racing here, though, for several of these guys. Really, really fun to watch. And these guys are racing for P17 like it is for the lead.
I was going through the field here. The 15 of Adam Rowe, incredibly loose off of turn 4, was driving through the infield there. He has some damage on that car, and the leaders are getting close to him, and I imagine they do not want that car to be getting loose around them. Justin Mon's getting ready to lap some cars, but a driver who has kind of started moving backward. I was watching this. The 23 of Cole Snyder gave up a couple of quick spots he gave up a quick spot to John Honeycutt, and is currently under fire from Joel Conley and Jacob Kerr. And speaking of the 50, he started in 14th, got a small piece of that incident, that first yellow flag that we had, and he is still managed to move up to the 5th spot from his 14th position, as we also just saw 7th place change hands as Joel Conley pulled over and let Jacob Kerr go by.
Yeah, I saw that. Joel Conley is going to move back to P8. Jacob Kerr take over 7th. And as Jordan said, huge gain for John Honeycutt, gaining 9 positions out here, having a solid run so far. But man, our leader, I am very impressed with him tonight. And you guys are asking, yes, thank you. It is definitely fixed league for these guys, not an open setup. So they are all running the same equipment for just minor changes for some of these guys. But Justin Mons doing a great job. We have Andrew Wisdom falling back just a little bit. I don't know if that's to take care of equipment or if it's simply because he might have overdriven it trying to stay on Justin Mons' bumper, but he is still out here, not too far behind.
Yeah, and the 41 looked like he was kicking the rear out just a little bit coming off of turn 4 as they're working through there again. Let's see if that thing is a little more stable. A little bit of a wobble, but not too bad. But yeah, it looks like these two really been pretty even. Last lap, Mons was a little bit faster than Wisdom, but this time around, Wisdom was almost a half a tenth quicker than Mons. So trading back and forth, fastest laps. But Wisdom actually looks a little bit stronger there. Had a really good 1 and 2, was able to get pretty close to that rear bumper, but it then gets a little bit loose. I think he noticed that and was seeing if he could gain some more ground. Still gained about a third of a tenth as he's cut the lead down to 0.692 seconds. That last time around is Mons is now going to have to work some lap traffic as they go around the 91 of Sean Blanchard. Blanchard goes well up high, but Mons caught him in a really bad spot, had to check up just a little bit on the exit of 2. Mons, or Wisdom, ended up having to do the same out of turn 4 with Blanchard, but still able to get about 900ths off of that lap time. So now Wisdom starting to reel in that 41 a little bit as they keep going here.
You know, it's really going to shake things up with him having to go through traffic. So it's going to be very interesting. Let's take a look on board with Justin Mons, if I can find that here. There we go. He's going to have some traffic that he's going to have to work through here. You see a lot of guys up ahead. Sean did a great job of trying to get out of the way, but as Jordan said, pretty tough spot there, and Sean's got a lot of damage, but Justin Mons, he is really holding steady. Looks like he is getting a little loose coming off of 4, so we're going to see how he's going to work around this. Could be a huge advantage for Wisdom, O'Brien, and Haynes as they're trying to make their way up through the field and close that gap.
Yeah, Wisdom is really starting to eat into that lead, but ahead of them, there are 2 drivers battling side by side for that last position on the lead lap. Sean Burke and Douglas King, the last 2 on the lead lap, side by side, going down into turn 1, and they are a half a corner ahead, if even that, of Justin Mons, our leader, who is trying desperately to hold off the ever closing in Andrew Wisdom.
John Honeycutt moving up another position. He is P4 right now in the top 5. He's got the 15 directly in front of him. That is going to be a lapped car, if I'm not mistaken, as he moves out of the way. So, man, a lot of traffic going on for these guys. Lap 41 of 180. It's going to get crazy here for our leaders as they try to make their way around. 223, the 41, our leader involved. Oh my gosh, let's take a look at that replay, but man, oh man, terrible timing.
Yeah, it looked like the 64 of Douglas King was able to clear him, kind of sent it in there, and came up across the 223, and he checked up and then tried to took it left to pull off the crossover, and when he did, he lost it. Just got completely loose. The 41, not expecting them to be side by side coming off of that corner, got into him. Maybe the 223 didn't get loose, but he still came down to try the crossover, and the 41 just not anticipating that whatsoever, and the 2 came together there, and just unfortunate. And that's something that we're going to see all night is lap traffic. How do these leaders manage to navigate it? How do our lap down cars how they opted? I mean, these 2 are trying to hold on to that last position on the lead lap, as well as racing for corner.
Yeah, so tough for Justin Mons. Not what you want to see. Such a strong car tonight, but the race is not over. Andrew Wisdom, on the other hand, let's take a look at this. He has chosen to stay out. I don't know if he's going to come in after these guys all go in, but man, oh man. Very interesting call on his end, but it looks like he might be going in this time around. Yeah, there he goes on in.
Hi, can I speak to Champ?
Thank you so much for the biddies, Holly. Appreciate it. And we have a PX far out. I don't know if I called you out, but thank you so much for the follow. You guys are awesome tonight. So much hype. Man, so brutal for Justin Mons there. You hate to see it.
Palm 34 cheered. X1000.
That is going to put Matt O'Brien as our leader. Jamie Haynes going to be in second. Cole Snyder in third. Justin Mons coming back after using, I guarantee that fast repair, going to come back P4. Jacob Kerr going to be in the top 5.
Yeah, that's a interesting call. I mean, unless he just had a had a had a good old fashioned brain fart and maybe was in discussion with his teammates or something along those lines and just missed pit road. But yeah, it is very strange to see Andrew Wisdom opt to pit on that second time around. I imagine that was not intentional. You would think, but I don't know.
Yeah, I'm kind of curious how far back he has fallen to. Let's see if we can
And
take a look.
And looking at the 41, there's a lot of damage on that race car, so he opted not to use that fast repair. And all he did was make contact with that 223 of Sean Burke, but that was some pretty heavy contact between the two of them, and it's done a lot of visual damage to that right front, to the hood area, to that fender area. So that car not going to be as fast, and it's especially not going to be quite as good on the long run as it once was. So I think he's definitely wanting to hold on to that fast repair, but he's gonna have he's gonna have some tough sledding here until he gets that opportunity to use it and fix that race car.
Absolutely. Andrew Wisdom has fallen back to around P16. It's just such an interesting call to go in when he did. As Jordan said, I don't think that is what he meant to do, but Matt O'Brien will be leading us off, and a couple of you guys rooting for him out here. A great spot for him to be in. We're going to go to green, back on his lead. Jamie Haynes on the outside, who I've been really impressed with his run tonight. Justin Mon still in the mix even after that. Still some damage on his car, but it's not terrible.
O'Brien got a great restart.
Yeah.
He went early. He went really early as he could, though. Almost some contact there between Haynes and Snyder as they go down into the corner. They're still going to be side by side. Nope. Haynes is going to concede that position to Snyder, so that will move him up into second place. And again, O'Brien just nice and quietly ran, decently, and the 41 involved in a wreck, and the 9 opting not to pit opting to pit a lap later than he probably should have, and suddenly the 17 of Matthew O'Brien is your leader, and in the best position he could possibly be in. The 23 of Cole Snyder starting to work him over a little bit. He dives way deep into that corner. This track is really interesting because you have to run them so differently, and honestly, Turn 4 is really slick. The exit of Turn 2 is really slick, but I feel like the toughest corner on this racetrack is actually Turn 1 because it's really deceptive and really difficult to find where your braking point is because it feels like it's a little bit earlier than it should be. It's really easy to overdrive that corner, and I say that as Snyder had overdriven 4 and overdriven 3 and almost KO'd O'Brien there. But we noticed, I think the 23 fell off a little bit time-wise, driving it a little bit hard, but that's the pace he wants to run, and he's putting pressure on that 17 of O'Brien here early on in this run.
Yeah, he's having a great run here tonight, but as you said, Matt O'Brien kind of goes under the radar. He takes care of his equipment, is pretty quiet until the final parts of the race where he makes his presence known. He is always there out front, but you don't see him doing a lot of aggressive moves. He's always pretty quiet out there, and that usually gets him to the lead as Cole Snyder is trying to take a peek on the outside, not going to have enough to make a move. He's going to take a peek on the inside. Will he be able to do anything with it? Side by side for the lead as we're going out of the exit of the turn. These guys so close, possibly a little bit of contact between the two. 17 gets a run. He's going to tuck back down into the lead.
Yeah, usually when the 17 is put in this position, we see him time and time again opt to lift. He is a driver that tends to understand that discretion is the better part of valor, but with the front 6 on top of each other like they are, he can't afford to take it easy here. He's going to have to defend that lead position from the 23 of Snyder, or else he's going to lose multiple positions. Behind him, the 41 of Mons, that wounded car, still got some good speed in it. He gets a little loose coming off of turn 4, but he has worked into the 3rd position now, trying to set his sights on the 23. But Cole Snyder continues to back up those corners and get a good launch off of them as he works off of turn 2, gets to the bumper, and goes a little bit higher. Now he's going to try to diamond that corner, try to get that late apex out of 4, not able to get down to the yellow line, not able to get the power down like he did a few laps ago when he was able to set up that move to the inside of O'Brien. He's going to have to try that one more time, but I think that's the move that we kind of see from these drivers. They have that high entrance. They try to work it down, get that launch off, and get alongside of that driver they're trying to attack so they can beat them into the corner in the next turn.
These guys starting to spread out just a little bit of a gap increasing for these guys. You can see very, very close for these guys, but man, oh man, Cole Snyder still hanging out. And guys, we have our second caution of the night, lap 56 of 180. Let's take a look and see if we can find out what happened.
Looks like the other 9 of Michael Everidge just got loose off of turn 4. Really late off of the corner, and as we've noted, there just is not a lot of group off of that turn. You always have wheel input into it because it's a curved straightaway, and it's just tough to get grip coming out of turn 4. But did a nice job of not hitting anything, and nobody hit him. So we've got a nice we're gonna have ourselves a nice restart, no harm, no foul. And we're going to see who opts to come down and get some fresh tires here.
We're going to find out, but take a look at some of the names that we have in the top 10 here. Justin Mons doing a great job making his way up through the field, sitting P3. Jamie Haynes in 4th. We have Jose Ruiz in top 5. John Honeycutt, who has made up quite a few positions. He is 6th. Andrew Wisdom, we saw start 16th. He has made his way up to 7th. Jacob Kerr for FTR is in 8th. Robert Reynolds in 9th, who we've seen very strong in these last several races. It's been really fun to watch how he's improved and making his way through the field. And Doc Holliday, who was very strong in practice, he's rounding out the top 10.
Handful of drivers opting to pit there, but for the most part our field stayed out there, our lead lap cars for the most part. And so drivers trying to hold on to those tires. It seems like a place where you're going to want to hold on to your tires as late as possible. So our leaders staying out there trying to save a set of tires. And
Matt O'Brien, we have him on the radio here. It's Eliza in the booth. How you doing tonight?
Pretty good.
You know, we were talking about you earlier. You stay under the radar, it feels like, and you really take care of that equipment. Is that going to be your strategy moving forward? Is just that's a huge thing. You got to take care of it out there.
I'm just taking care of it. Seems like the guys behind me won't have a right front, and I mean, I kind of feel like they already burned the right fronts off, so trying to pass me. So
absolutely.
I feel like it's mostly saving the rears. What I'm trying to do right now. It's because there's a lot of wheel spin off the exits, and they'll come back in the long run for me.
What is the biggest problem spot for you? I know a lot are getting loose off at exit 4, but what is it for you?
Probably honestly, like it's the toughest part is the tightness in the center, honestly, in the both ends, because it just doesn't rotate. The car doesn't want to rotate in the center, really.
I hear that. Well, I wish you a ton of luck going into this next restart, and you have a lot of guys rooting for you out there. So good luck to you out there.
Yep. Thank you.
All right. You heard it there from Matt O'Brien, our current leader. And Jordan, I mean, he sounds just chill, cool as a cucumber, not really worrying about too much. You don't hear any like kind of panic in his voice. I mean, this guy is just, he's riding out there.
We probably should have interviewed somebody in like 20th that's been in one of these wrecks if we wanted to hear some panic. But right now he's run a solid race and everything seems to be going to plan. He's got a clean race car and it's out in the lead.
Absolutely. I'm going to go on board with Jose Ruiz for the start. We're going to go in the cockpit and see how he's doing out there in that number 29. He's going to be starting off P4. P5, I should say. So we'll see how it goes for him. He's got Jamie Haynes on the outside in that number 53 car, and John Honeycutt behind. Here we go off the start. Not a great start for Jose, as these guys are really on the run. Take a look at that start. Man, oh man. Pretty impressive for these guys, as they are very, very close. Cole Snyder really up front, going side by side with that 41 as they're entering the turn. Some of these guys you can see all the way through. Too wide, too wide, too wide. These guys just going for the battle for the next position, Jordan.
Yeah, Snyder actually got a really good restart, was able to hang on to the bumper of O'Brien. Mons sliding into that third spot, and now fourth place seems to have settled out for the time being, but behind them, the 9 of Andrew Wisdom. He's working around that 29 machine of Ruiz. He's going to take that position, move into the 6th spot. Now Ruiz under fire from Jacob Kerr as they head down into turn 1. Meanwhile, Wisdom looks underneath Honeycutt for the 5th position, not able to get there, but they're working their way down the back straight, and now he's going to dive it down in there, not able to get alongside the 50. The 50 also uses that high line to try to get a run back on the 53 of Jamie Haynes, as this battle for 4th is now the battle for 5th is now turned into a battle for 4th amongst 3 cars.
Yeah, take a look at this battle. The 9 and the 50 side by side for position. That is going to be for P5. He's got a little bit of a nose out. We'll see if he kind of goes up the track, but he holds it down there really well. I'm pretty impressed with these guys. But take a look as they are just battling it out still. Cole Snyder falling back a little bit from our leader of Matt O'Brien. But man, what a battle for these guys. We have Jamie Haynes in 4th, Andrew Wisdom in 5th, and John Honeycutt, he's going to be in the top 6.
Yeah, Wisdom was able to complete that pass. Mons looking underneath the 23, not able to get that run off of the corner that he needed to make that pass for the 2nd position. So those battles have cleared themselves out. Meanwhile, the 20 of Jacob Kerr, he has been able to move around Jose Ruiz. He's into 7th. Now Ruiz continues to fall back a little bit. He's under fire from the 88 of John Holiday, who was involved in that very first caution in the race after having a solid start to this race, or a solid starting position, I should say. He was involved in that first incident. He is trying to work his way back through the field to get himself a good finish, but he is without a fast repair, I do believe. So that's going to be a situation to monitor. Oh, I'm up in 2nd place, the 23 of Cole Snyder. He gets loose coming off of turn 4. The 41 cuts him a huge break, not getting into him there, but those two lose a lot of time to our leader, Matthew O'Brien.
Yeah, you can see the gap, and the 41 is going to go on the inside. The 23 going to let him take that as he is on the outside. He's going to have, looks like Andrew Wisdom follow him through there. So huge break for him as he's making his way around.
Yeah, the 23, I think he kind of noticed he had burned his right rear up a little bit there, so he let those two go around to try to cool off that tire, trying to take it easy, running a little higher line, trying to take it easy on that right rear tire, but just that car not looking like it's doing what he wants it to right now. Is the 50 of John Honeycutt all over his rear bumper, and now the 41 and the 9, as they started off this race, they're together again. They're one position back from where they were earlier in this race, but those two have found each other. The 41 with a significant disadvantage with that damage on the right front.
Yeah.
And yeah, I think he's having to pedal it a little bit harder to try to make up with that and steer that car with a throttle.
Yeah, he is definitely pushing the limits on this car right now. And remember, guys, as Jordan said, he's got some damage, but this is about to be a huge battle for the lead. We have Matt O'Brien up ahead, who is most definitely taking care of his equipment. Justin Mons getting extremely loose coming off a 4, so it's going to get very interesting. And he is under fire by Andrew Wisdom, and you can see the damage on the rear of that 41 machine. He's got a lot of damage back there. We'll see what Andrew can do as he is trying to make his way around that 41 and go back for the lead. Jordan,
Yeah,
I'm excited.
Those two made some significant contact a lap ago, getting into turn 1. Wisdom got right up on the rear bumper of Mons, and Mons, I think, checked up for the corner a little earlier than Wisdom was anticipating, and those two almost wiped out. An excellent save out of Mons, but again, that cost him a little bit of track position to the 17 of Matthew O'Brien. Now Wisdom looks to the inside of Mons. Will Mons fight back? Will he let him go here? It looks like he's going to have to let him go, even whether he wanted to or not. He's going to have to let that 9 machine go and fall into the 3rd spot. And yeah, that rear end now damaged. The poor 41 car's gotten it on 2 different corners there. The left rear looks pretty beat up, and that right front is pretty beat up. So the 41 taking its lumps early in this race, but still managing to hold on to that 3rd spot.
He's holding on to that 3rd spot, and let's take a look at Cole Snyder, who is not giving up tonight. I love the drive in this guy right now. Doing a phenomenal job tonight, just hanging out. This guy is P4 at the moment. He's got John Honeycutt directly behind him, who has made up about 9 spots. I mean, these guys are just doing a great job out here. Pretty well a gap between, it looks like, 3rd and 4th, but Cole Snyder's still hanging on there, and I think if he can take care of his equipment, he's going to round out tonight with the top 5.
Now, let's see how hard these guys are pushing here. We're getting kind of deep into this run on this set of tires. They've had an opportunity to they went a few laps, then got a yellow. Now we're starting to get some wear on this set. So we'll see who's doing a good job of holding on to these tires, and a car that I'm worried about. We saw the 23. He kind of gave up a little bit before that second caution flag, and the 41 with that right front damage that just seems to really impair a car's ability to keep speed on the long run, regardless of what type of racetrack you're at. So that we have to monitor the situation with Justin Mons as well, see if that car has the long run pace that it did earlier on in this race. But a driver that is not too inhibited by anything is that 9 car of Andrew Wisdom. He is working his way up to Matthew O'Brien, and he is just absolutely taking chunks out of that lead. Was at 4/10 back, or he's .425 this time around, so took 7/100 off of the lead that lap, almost a full 10th. So that 9 machine really hooked up right now as he's trying to work his way in there, really diving it in deep too.
Yeah, he sure is. This battle for the lead is definitely brewing up as he is getting very loose for Andrew Wisdom. But take a look at this, P4. What a battle for these guys. This is just really getting very interesting. We have Jamie Haynes on the inside. We have John Honeycutt on the outside. These two are just going at it right now. Meanwhile, Cole Snyder, he is falling into the hands of Jacob Kerr, who is getting ready to make a pass on him. Cole Snyder falling back a little bit, but this whole crew, Jordan, the way they are battling it out, they are just letting the guys ahead of him get away. John Honeycutt has now cleared the way, so hopefully these guys can make up some time and close that gap.
Yeah, all these drivers right on top of each other. The 53 seems to be a little bit faster than the 50, and that's forcing Honeycutt to have to work hard with the drivers stacked up behind him. You don't have that opportunity to just let the 53 go and set into a pace here. So he's having to work really hard to hold on to that position, whether he wants to or not. He's having to drive really hard to hold on to that 4th spot, or else it's going to be worse for him. Meanwhile, oh God, gets super loose late on the straightaway, was able to catch it. But yeah, that 50 car not handling quite the way he wants to. The 53 looking to make that pass. Meanwhile, the 20 of Jacob Kerr was foiled in his attempt to take away the 6th spot from Cole Snyder. Snyder able to defend in that high lane. And now the 50. Oh!
Yeah, we saw an incident between Doc Holliday and Jacob Kerr. Let's take a look at that replay. I'm gonna have to back that up a little bit here. Let's take a look. You can see Jacob Kerr coming off, and then the 88 just getting super close, trying to kind of wiggling back and forth there, just moves up the track, and that is the end of Jacob Kerr, who is having a pretty solid run. He'll have to go get that damage repaired.
Yeah, pretty light damage to the left front. I think he'll be able to continue on without having to waste the fast repair, but that's going to kill his track position. But yeah, just running really high up the racetrack. He was in that well into that second lane, and yeah, the 88 just kind of dove really deep into the corner and got into him.
A lot of these guys, you know what, I say a lot. I think all of these guys will be going on to pit road. They had a long green flag run here, lap 87 of 180. And Hall, thank you so much for the biddies. I appreciate it. J. Paul says, let's go 23, 29, 45, and 24. What a team out there. And I know you said that a long time ago. I saw it. These guys just doing a great job tonight. Much cleaner, much better race than what we saw last week. This is the playoffs, guys. This is crazy. These guys are going for everything that they can. Again, the point standings right there as these guys are getting ready to come off of pit lane. You can see the mad dash as these guys are going 2 and 3 wide to get off to pit road and come back on the track here. Matt O'Brien will be leading us off. We have Andrew Wisdom in second, Justin Mons in third. We have Jamie Haynes, who's having a really great run out tonight, and I'm liking this car. I'm really liking that tonight. He's in fourth with John Honeycutt running at the top 5. Another solid run for him. Cole Snyder out here, P6. Doc Holliday, who was just involved in that incident, he's going to be in 7th. Bud Shear in 8th. Robert Reynolds in 9th. And Jose Ruiz, he's going to round out your top 10. Jordan, I think before the night is over, I think we're going to see our top 3 drivers just absolutely battling it out for the lead. You know, I would love to see a 3-wide finish between these 3, all playoff drivers, so it would be an absolute insane finish. But man, oh man, loving this run with these 3 tonight.
Yeah, we'll be at the halfway point here next time around here under this yellow, but so far the 9 seems to be in the best position as far as speed to clean car cleanliness goes. It probably has a little bit of front end damage from that impact with the 41 that he made earlier in this race, but Mons had been able to do a good job with that car as beat up as it is. He still seems to be one of the 3 fastest cars out there, but the 17 of Matthew O'Brien has played this race. Don't think he's shown his full hand yet at this point, but waits to see as that 9 of Andrew Wisdom has been really strong, was able to work his way through the field, has been able to navigate traffic and put good speed down, but has not yet led a lap, I don't believe, in this race. And so that's for as quick as that car is, I think that's a little bit surprising, but he just hadn't been in that position. We'll see if the 17 of Matthew O'Brien can do what he can do to hold off that 9 here and lead this run.
Top 7 guys are playoff drivers. The next race is Bristol, and that will be the last race in round 1 of the playoffs. Then they will move to the round of 12. Gonna be
Oh, sorry. The next race is Bristol, so if they're not all mad at each other after this one, they have plenty of opportunity to get mad next week.
They definitely are putting them through the ringer for this first round, but they are off back to green. Matt O'Brien with a great start. Andrew Wisdom not letting him go. Justin Mons gonna fall in behind. These guys are single file line. Doc Holliday, let's take a look. Wow, so much action going on here before that. Doc Holliday, I know, is involved. The 10 car, oh man, Robert Reynolds just comes up and just gives him a huge shove. And the 20 car, who just got damaged from the 88, gets more damage from the 88.
Yeah, but the 88 has oh wow, yeah, he got him pretty good there. But yeah, that's I believe that's going to be it for Doc Holliday as far as fast repairs go. That car got stuck into the his car stuck into the turn 1 wall there. But yeah, just it's really easy to misjudge turn 1, especially coming off of a restart. But yeah, that was was a pretty.
It was a
pretty
doozy.
mistake there. Yeah, that was a big one.
Yeah, really unfortunate to see with that one. Doc having a great run. I don't know. Robert Reynolds just came up very quickly, hit his back bumper, and after that, that's it. Doc Holliday goes to the right, and it's gonna cause a nice one. Pretty clean, I gotta say though, still. Very clean race. These guys having some fantastic battles, and I'm surprised. This is our 5th caution. I thought it was only our 3rd or something, but we're amazingly enough, we're on our 5th caution of the night, Jordan.
It's been a significantly cleaner race than what we saw last week, but yeah, this is the first. We're usually good for 1 or 2 of those, and here in PSES we get that yellow flag that breeds another really quick yellow flag once again. But hopefully that isn't a harbinger of things to come. The 17 of Matthew O'Brien continues to lead with Andrew Wisdom in 2nd, Justin Mons in 3rd, and then behind them, Pack, who wants to get some racing in just to see if they can do anything with this top 3 that has so far dominated this race.
Tom Flitcroft moves up into the top 10. Joel Conley in 9th, and Thomas Harmon, who won a couple of weeks ago at, I believe it was Talladega, he is sitting P11 right now. Charlie Mosley Jr. in 12th. Enrique Quinones, he is 13th. Jorge Rincon in 14th. Chris Fathke in 15th. Austin Collins in that 00, he's going to be P16. Adam Rowe in 17. Sean Blanchard in 18th. Douglas Keene in 19th. Michael Bain in 20th. And Jacob Kerr, who is involved in both of those. He's going to be P21, Jordan.
Yeah, if he didn't get to use it, he didn't use his faster pair that first one, which I imagine he didn't. He definitely needed to there. That looked like some pretty significant contact between them. Well, no, that left front is pretty beat up on that car, so maybe he has not opted to hit that. Maybe yeah, hearing from sources, he actually did not get damage from that somehow. So he got no right front damage from that contact. I think that's what he went into pit road to do, to try to fix it, and there was nothing to fix, I guess. So there we go. So he still is holding on to his faster pair, and the car still seems to be in pretty decent shape for him.
He's got luck on his side for that one, because man, oh man, that was quite a hit from my angle, but good for him. Hopefully he can make his way up through the field. Unfortunate that he wasted a pit stop on that, if there was indeed no damage. But these guys...
He was already in the back anyway.
That's true. That's true. You got a point. These guys are getting ready to line up double file to get ready to go green. Lap 97 of 180. You can see him holding back just a little bit, trying to give space. And Matt O'Brien already off back to the green. The 41 gets a little loose as he spins the tires going to the start. Andrew Wisdom all over the back bumper of Matt O'Brien. These guys are just on it, and they're back to single file until they battle for position again, Jordan.
Yeah, the top 5 single file back to 6th place. They are side by side for that position. Robert Reynolds looking underneath Cole Snyder. They work down the straightaway. Meanwhile, a half a car length in between our 2 leaders. The 17 of O'Brien able to hold off that 14 of Wisdom. Wisdom a little higher through the center, tries to diamond it down, gets a pretty solid launch off of turn 2, but not quite able to do anything with it, not quite able to get close enough. 17 gets overdrives the corner just a little bit. That allows Wisdom to get up to him. He's going to look to the inside of O'Brien. O'Brien lets off nice and early, rolls the center. The 9 looks like he might be able to clear him. Not quite. The 17 of O'Brien fights back, has to pedal it a little bit. He got a little tight on exit, maybe onto the throttle a little early. Either way, he had to let up on corner exit to allow that 9 Avenger Wisdom by. That's going to give the 41 of Justin Mons the opportunity to look underneath the 17 as a yellow flag is out again.
Yellow flag is out. Let's take a look at what happened. Oh my goodness, we're gonna have cautions breed cautions out here. Let's find out if we can see what happened.
That way.
All right, we're gonna have to go back a little bit further. These guys aren't showing me. Oh, you see the 64 spins out right there. Yeah, just gets loose coming off the exit. Jacob Kerr once again. Nowhere to go. He's going to hit his car just a little bit. And that's what brought out the caution there.
That poor 20 car is just into everything. Yeah, there's nothing he can do. The 64
No.
gets so loose, almost like he blew a tire. I mean, that thing whipped around on him so quick. Just it looked like he was just trying to get too much throttle. And yeah, the 20 nowhere to go except into his right rear. And Jacob Kerr is now testing those FTR cars, see how durable they are.
I'm going to have a nice bill after this race. My goodness. But he's still holding on there. P19 at the moment. Man, oh man. Testing his patience out here tonight. But these guys have a lot of patience. I feel like there is just small, tiny little things that are just bringing out the cautions. It's nothing too crazy, but it is enough to bring out yet another yellow. Lap 103 of 180. Still some racing left to be had. So these guys, 17th, 18th, and 19th, all playoff drivers. Justin Mons going back to almost 20th there, 21st. So a lot of these guys choosing to go in and some staying out. Andrew Wisdom is in the lead, Jordan. Matt O'Brien is out there in second. Jamie Haynes in third. John Honeycutt in fourth. Joe Conley in the top 5. We'll see what these guys can do. The 23 of Cole Snyder we've seen up here the entire night, kind of going back and forth between the top 5 and not. He is P6 at the moment. I'm expecting to see him up in the top 5 again.
Really, who all came to pit road there? Not many people. It doesn't seem like. Justin Mons all the way back in the 8 of Tom Flitcroft. He came down pit road. Not really sure. Maybe the 41 opted to get some damage fixed there. Maybe decided. Yeah, it looked like that right front kicked out a little bit once he exited. So maybe yeah, might have just been trying to fix some damage. Taking this opportunity, I think maybe he sees this going into a little bit of a caution fest, which I don't think I would want to be in the back of the pack for that. But at the same time, maybe this will give him an opportunity to get off of cycle a little bit and maybe cycle to the lead if we can get another quick yellow here. So interesting strategy call out of the 41. I don't hate it, but I need to see how it pans out from here, as he decided to take that opportunity to fix the car, and we'll see if that works out for him, or if it comes back to bite him being in the middle of the pack here, as they are getting a little wrecky.
Yeah, he's going to be starting off P23, so not a great place to be. If there are going to be more cautions, you definitely, as Jordan said, I don't know that I'd want to be behind that, but hopefully it works out for him. Andrew Wisdom will be leading us off. Matt O'Brien in second, Jamie Haynes in third, and Alpha York, we're missing you out here tonight. Thank you so much for the host. I know you're having a blast. Mon says damage was holding me back. This is this guy is multitasking out here, but there you have it right there. Damage was holding him back. He had to go and repair it, so hopefully he can make his way back through the field. With the way his car is running tonight, I guarantee it's gonna happen.
Green flag.
These guys are off back to green. Andrew Wisdom with a great start. Matt O'Brien right behind. We're going to have Jamie Haynes in third. And quite a battle for P4 between John Honeycutt, Jamie Haynes, and Joel Conley. A nice run on that high side for John Honeycutt. Jamie Haynes is going to have to back it off a little bit more, as he's going to tuck down on the bottom line. And that's going to put John Honeycutt in third, Jamie Haynes in fourth.
They head down into turns 1 and 2. Now our top 6 single file. Joe Conley having a nice run here tonight, as well as that 29 of Jose Ruiz trying to back up that run he had at Darlington the previous week. And so those two having some solid runs behind them. The 68 of Thomas Harmon, our Daytona winner from a few weeks ago, he was involved in that first accident. He has been able to rebound now up into the top 10 as they continue onward, and we're seeing several drivers moving through the field, so it's not impossible to rebound here as the 68 looks underneath the 29, trying to take that position away from Ruiz. Harmon now up into the 7th spot as he is trying to work his way forward, as Ruiz now fights back on that outside, using that outside lane. And this is something we know about him from, if you've ever raced with him on NASCAR Heat, he loves to run the outside and just make you annoying. Just be annoying. He loves to make you waste your stuff, get frustrated, make a mistake. He will run that high line and force you to have to make that pass underneath him, which is the more difficult way to complete the pass. With the 68 of Harmon able to get around the 29 now and get clear of him. Now the 60 car trying to work his way around Ruiz, but our top 10 or so now single file. As I say that, Mosley is under attack from Shearer.
Yeah, he sure is. These guys battling side by side by Bud Shear and Mosley Jr. So we'll see what happens with that. Bud Shear's got a nice nose out, but the 60 is going to battle it out with him for position. That is going to be for P9. These guys just doing a great job. We have the 60 up really high, a lot of space in between these guys. But the 60, I'm impressed with how he's holding up that high side, getting the momentum off the turn. It looked like the 93 got a little loose, but he was able to hold on to it all over that apron. Jordan doing a great job, moves up pretty high, but these guys are still on the move.
Yeah, and meanwhile, if the battle for 5th, that one concludes with Thomas, or the battle for 6th, I should say, with Thomas Herman moving around Joel Conley, so he is up another position. Watching the 53 and the 50, both of them have been getting loose off of the corners, well ahead of them. They're not in a battle at the moment, but those two really driving hard to try to stay with our front two drivers of Matthew O'Brien and Andrew Wisdom. Meanwhile, the rest of the top 8 or so has been sorted out, but meanwhile that battle for 9th continues to rage on between Bud Shearer and Charles Mosley. Shearer working that inside lane as they go into turn 3. The 60 really up high of Mosley. The 30 that allowed the 93 to actually use a little higher lane and get a pretty solid run off of the corner as Mosley got a little loose up in that high lane. But the 93 just not able to complete that pass. Now the 60 gonna have to check up just a little bit, lets him go. That's going to allow the 93 to move on here. He's going to try to run down that 29 machine of Ruiz.
Yeah, you saw a little bit of a stack up from that. Charlie Mosley Jr. Behind, and these guys really stacking up the 28 and the 00 of Jorge and Austin Collins, but they were managing to hold it out. But man, oh man, what a battle for these guys. Looking great out there. Meanwhile, up in P2, we have Matt O'Brien. Andrew Wisdom putting quite a gap on these guys, doing a great job out there. John Honeycutt, he's going to be P3. These guys all separated quite a bit. You can see the top 5 or so. And then we have Thomas Harmon, who we've talked about a couple of times tonight, all over the back bumper of that 23 with Joel Conley tonight in P7. He is not too far behind there, Jordan.
Speaking of behind, these drivers, all of our top 10 right now, single file, 11th and 12th, Jorge Rincon and Austin Collins going at it. Rincon tried to power it down on the inside of 1 and 2, but got loose. That allowed the 00 of Collins to get well clear of him. Now the 28 needs to fend off the 10 of Robert Reynolds, who we saw earlier in that incident with the 88 of Doc Holliday. Holliday now 26 laps down. Still out there trying to get that car repaired, but that's going to be a tough night for him, especially being a playoff driver. That is not the kind of night he was looking for.
Absolutely. Really, really tough night for him. But hopefully he can make his way back out here. But let's take a look at this backstretch as these guys are going into turn 3 here. Man, what a line. That is a huge train. These guys just doing a phenomenal job. Some of these guys going too wide into the corner, but they are still on the move. Andrew Wisdom still in the lead, about almost a second and a half in front of Matt O'Brien. This is a man on a mission, and this is the guy, Wisdom, who won the spring race, looking to sweep this for the season. We'll see if he can make it happen.
Driver currently on the move. We saw the 8 of Tom Flitcroft. He pit that last time, but also another driver up in front of him, the 20 of Jacob Kerr. He's been somehow involved in the last 3 caution flags. None of it really of his making at all. Just wrong place, wrong time. Managed to get a little lucky in that second one and not get any damage from it. But he is now trying to rebound. He has worked his way up to the 16th spot, trying to work his way into the top 15. Meanwhile, right behind him, his teammate Tom Flitcroft also trying to work his way through the field. And also ahead of Jacob Kerr is Justin Mons, who we saw come in and pit to fix a little bit of damage. He is trying to work his way forward through the field in that 15th spot.
Yeah, he's got a lot of traffic directly in front of him, so it's going to be interesting. This is not the first time that Justin Mons has had to go through traffic. Even as the leader, that's where it all began. He was in the lead and had to go through lap traffic, had an incident, and that's where his night kind of went downhill as he is trying to make it back up. But man, oh man, battling it out with the 27. You know, he's got a little bit more speed than that 27. We're going to see if they're going to challenge him for that spot. He's gonna want that spot also, but Justin Mons, he is on the move, trying to go too wide with that 27 of Chris Fathke, and this is for P13.
Yeah, I'm honestly really surprised Fathke was able to make that car stick. That was a nice job. He instead of conceding that position once he was put 3 wide, he tried to outbrake the 41 into the corner and was actually able to successfully do it, and managed to also complete the pass on the 28 while he was doing it. So that was actually a relatively impressive move out of the 27, but Mons has since been able to make his way around him. Meanwhile, it looks like
250.
not really sure what I'm hearing. I thought I was hearing something, and my brain can only do so much at once. But meanwhile, the 41 now trying to set his sights on the 10 of Robert Reynolds directly ahead of him as he continues his march toward the front.
Yeah, these guys are still on the run. And let's go back to our leader, Andrew Wisdom. He is still out there in the lead, over 2 seconds ahead of second place, Matt O'Brien. So he's having a fantastic run. We'll see how much longer that lasts. He knows how to take care of his equipment. So does Matt O'Brien. So we'll see what he can do with that. Meanwhile, in third, we have John Honeycutt and Jamie Haynes behind him. These guys kind of separating, but third and fourth running together at the moment. We'll see what these guys can do and if they can make up some time and close up that gap. And you guys, thank you for the bits again. Thank you so much, Hall. I really appreciate it. Looks like Jamie Haynes running that low side. We have John Honeycutt who is kind of on that high side. I don't know if that's giving up some time, some gap to him behind, but taking the low side that time around. We'll see if Jamie Haynes closes that gap even more and kind of challenges him for P3, but it is coming down to the wire here as far as that goes. He's going to have to keep him behind, and we'll see if he defends that.
Yeah, I've seen the 50 getting real loose off of the corners here. I think the 53 has a little more pace than him right now. He's looking at that inside. The 50 out is likely willing to give him that and try to fight back on that outside. Will he concede this position? No, he'll try to fight back on the outside. I was able to keep the throttle in it. Thought he might get into the wall there, but did a nice job of timing that right. But the 53 able to get a really good run off of the corner. That's going to allow Haynes to take away that third position. Will he try to slide up in front of the 50? He will. Ooh, that was a dangerous move. Oh, God, I thought Honeycutt was going to run him over there into the corner. But, yeah, that was real tight there a couple of times. Yeah, Honeycutt's car just not handling the way he wants it to, as the 68 of Thomas Harmon now looking underneath him to try to take away that fourth spot. And I believe he will. Honeycutt gonna concede that spot? No, he's gonna fight back. 68 not able to slide up in front of him as they work their way into through turns 3 and 4, still side by side.
Side by side, we'll see if he gets that quarter exit momentum run, and he is going to get that. But Thomas Harmon really challenging him out there, and he's got Jamie Haynes directly in front of him. These guys, the more they're going to battle it out, the better it is for Matt O'Brien, Jamie Haynes, and our leader of Andrew Wisdom. These guys just really having a heck of a time trying to see who is going to take over that position. But Thomas Harmon, he's going to move up to P4. John Honeycutt, he's going to fall back to P5, and he's still running that high side, Jordan. Something, he's not having a good time in that car right now, I think.
Yeah, that 50 not very good. Now he's moving up to that high line, trying to wear that right front a little bit to try to take care of that right rear tire and move the balance that way. That car has just been getting super loose. And God, he just gets into the corner so deep. I keep thinking he's gonna kill the driver in front of him, but that's just how you have to make that corner, running up in that high lane. Behind him, Joel Conley, who continues to have a really strong run in that 6th position, running in the 6th position. That was very repetitive of me, but yeah, he's right now holding on to that back bumper. That car looks like it's running a really nice pace. He seems to be pacing it really well. Behind him, Jose Ruiz, continuing that momentum from Darlington. Yet another good run for him, ahead of Cole Snyder, Austin Collins, and now Justin Mons, who has worked his way into the top 10.
Justin Mons into the top 10. Meanwhile, leader Andrew Wisdom is over 2.5 seconds ahead of Matt O'Brien. These guys really starting to separate. A very long, probably our longest green flag run that we've had so far tonight. Lap 139 of 180. Guys in chat, I'm going to call on you. Who do you have winning tonight? You've seen the race so far. Do we have Andrew Wisdom? Is he going to sweep the race for the season at Richmond Raceway? Or will Matt O'Brien pass him for the win? Anything can happen. You guys have seen it all this season. An exciting race so far here tonight, but Wisdom, I mean, this guy is on a run. He's on rails, and he knows how to make this car last.
Yeah, Matthew O'Brien's going to have to find 2.5 seconds in the next 40 laps. It's going to be a really tough quest for him to complete. Meanwhile, that battle for third starting to heat up a little bit as Thomas Harmon now working his way through the field. He's getting to the back of the 53 of Jamie Haynes. And now the 50, he looks like he's rebounding a little bit, but that 62 as well is starting to close in. So this battle for third right now is a 4-man dance as they head into turn 1 with Haynes leading that group by a car length over the 68 of Thomas Harmon.
The 4 of these guys are really putting on a battle right now. You can see that 50. All of these guys kind of driving different lines at the moment. We have Jamie Haynes, who is driving right on the apron. We have Thomas Harmon up just a little bit from that. John Honeycutt really taking on that high side, kind of bringing it down, coming off the exit. And Joel Conley is kind of got the same line as Tom Harmon. So we'll see how these guys do it. But right now, they are really keeping close together, trying to make their way to close that gap between them and Matt O'Brien. They're trying all they can, Jordan, and they're keeping it very, very clean. This is a very separated race right now.
Yeah, very separated. And right now, this battle for third through sixth is really interesting because they're all running incredibly different lines. Through 3 and 4, all but Honeycutt seem to be on the yellow line, but through 1 and 2, it seems to be anybody's guess where they're going to run. Harmon running up about a half
Jordan.
a car with. Oh no, what's happened?
Our leader hitting traffic almost into the 64. And if I'm not mistaken, I don't know if that's who that was the first time around with Justin Mons, our leader the last time, but so extremely close right there. Very, very close call right there. That could have ended pretty badly. He's still on the run. Yeah. He's still on the run, though.
Yeah, that was, I believe that was the 223 of Sean Burke, but I believe right. Douglas King was part of that. Little mix-up there that caused that incident. Oh, the 9 of Wisdom. We're riding on with him there. He got incredibly loose off of turn 4. I think he wants to get clear of these guys as quickly as possible. Well, of course he does. It's lap traffic. And we'll see how hard how difficult it is for the 17 to work through these drivers. But right now he's got a little bit of of clear racetrack between him and that 24, who seems to be running out of the line that he is opting to run. So that shouldn't be, in theory, too difficult of a pass. And then he's got a pretty decent distance up to the car in front of him. That's the 24 of Dakota Kramer, and then the 15 of Adam Rowe, who we saw struggling a little bit at the beginning of this race, but has since seemed to get it together. He is currently the last car on the lead lap. Dakota Kramer is currently 2 laps down and is the last car 2 down, as we're coming close here to 30 to go, 31 at the line next time around.
Jordan, very interesting riding on board with Andrew Wisdom, completely cutting off the engine, if I'm not mistaken,
Saving
going
fuel.
through the corners, saving fuel. You said it right there. So he is definitely on a strategy play right now. We'll see if it works out for him, but I feel like that's what is getting him loose coming off the exits. You can see him just tail getting a little loose coming off there, but he's doing a great job saving for the long run. 150 of 180, still a little bit left in this race, but interesting riding on board with him.
Yeah, very, very, very interesting. Yeah, that thing's getting down to 2,000 RPMs in the corners. So yeah, he's definitely hitting the clutch, trying to save whatever he can in the corners here. That's allowing the 17 of Matthew O'Brien to run him down. Apparently he's got some information that some of these other drivers haven't, or they're just not equipped, or they're not deciding to try to stretch this on fuel. But it looks like the 9 of Andrew Wisdom trying to give himself an opportunity to win this race on strategy. If this thing goes green to the end, that feels ambitious, but I believe this run has been, let's see, how long has this run been? It's been an incredibly long run. Yeah, they're 64 laps in, so it's definitely not unthinkable that they could go another 28 here. But yeah, definitely interesting to see that this is kind of what this race might turn into here, into a little bit of a strategy race.
And I was on board with Matt O'Brien. He has not shut off the engine around the corner, so definitely gaining on our leader, a little under 2 seconds, as he was almost 2.5 seconds behind. He's definitely closing that gap. Haynes, he is in P3 right now, still hanging on, but Honeycutt has fallen back to P5.
Yeah, it'd be a really dangerous strategy if we got a yellow. Your race would be over. But the Andrew Wisdom is not running very fast lap times right now, running mid-23 in the mid-23 second bracket. He ran a 23.7 last time around, was able to shorten it to a 23.3 this time, but not the quickest lap times that we could see with him running the strategy. So if you wanted to pit now, there might be the opportunity. It might be a little too late for that, but maybe if you wanted to cut this final run in half, there would have been the opportunity to be able to beat him on speed and make that pass if he is able to go green here. But I think the time for that might have already passed. We'll just see how this works out for the 9.
Very, very close. Yeah, I don't know how it's gonna go. We have 25 left in the race, so it is gonna be extremely close. Jordan, I don't know. I'm getting to the point where I'm on the edge of my seat. What is going to happen? Will we see a caution? And if we do, you know that is going to change literally everything here tonight. Matt O'Brien looking to make a win here. Andrew Wisdom trying to sweep this race for the season. Jamie Haynes trying to pull out a top 3. Tom Harmon, he won a race a couple of races ago. This guy's looking to make up some positions. Harmon is not in the playoffs though. So still a lot of racing left to be had here. The top 5, Harmon is the only one not in the playoffs, Jordan.
Man, this is interesting. It doesn't seem like anyone else is out there saving fuel, especially the drivers that the 9 is trying to cover here. So, he could definitely beat them on speed. He's given up a little bit of track position, but he honestly has that opportunity to with that big lead. So nothing really to lose here by saving this fuel. Maybe we get a yellow flag and he doesn't have to pit, but man, if we get a yellow flag, you're going to want to come in and get tires at the very least, so there'd be no reason to top off. This is a good way of covering all your bases here, using that lead And if he can make it all the way, then kudos to him. And if he can shorten that pit stop, maybe take a little less fuel, if it comes down to a splash and go for all of these drivers, then that's obviously a good move as well. It's just very strange to see him being legitimately the only driver that I've ridden on board with that is trying to save fuel at this juncture.
Yeah, right now he's kind of rotating in between saving and not trying to even out that time, that gap between him and second of Matt O'Brien. Matt O'Brien has still gained a little bit. Just a lap ago, he was almost a second and a half back, and now he is almost a second and a half back once again. But our leader making his way through traffic, doing a phenomenal job, and the guys making sure as to not get in the way too much of these drivers and their playoff hopes. So we'll see what they can do here tonight, but with 19 to go, the race is coming down to a finish here. We'll see who wins and who takes it home tonight.
Wisdom definitely has had the speed tonight, and right now he is doing a nice job. He's covering them in strategy at the moment, being the only driver attempting to save fuel. Again, I don't know how close they are. I wish I did. I wish I had the numbers on it, how much fuel they had and whatnot, but it seems like this is the way he thinks he can win this thing. And again, maybe he's just trying to make sure in case something goofy happens here, he has the fuel to basically have an open playbook once this if a late yellow flag comes out. But just an interesting turn of events that no one else is doing it. That's what's kind of weirding me out. Going through the entire top 10 or so, no one else is trying to hit the clutch, trying to shut the engine off, trying to get down to that 2,000 RPMs in the corners to save that fuel. He's the only one so far.
A nice battle between 6th and 7th. These guys super close. Just, I should say, 7th and 8th. We have Cole Snyder and Justin Mons going side by side for P7. We'll see. Justin Mons was our leader and our pole sitter. Had an unfortunate turn of events as he was trying to make his way through traffic, and he has worked so extremely hard trying to make his way through the field back up to the front, and he is working on a top 5, but only 14 laps to go. His race is coming down to an end.
Yeah, John Honeycutt is the first of our top 5 to have pit. He came down to pit road. He, I believe, took tires because he is absolutely walking through the field right now. At least took 2. But yeah, Honeycutt has come to pit road. No one else, it seems like, has. Maybe a couple of other drivers have. Let's see. Anyone? The 10 of Robert Reynolds, I think, is pit. There have been a couple of drivers pit, but so far most of our top 7 or 8 or so have from that run are still out there on the racetrack.
I'm very curious. We're watching Andrew Wisdom save. Will it be enough? You know he is giving up time saving like this, getting a little loose coming off the exits. He's almost up to 2 seconds in front of Matt O'Brien. Really starting to save. You can see him just shutting off the engine, really losing those RPMs. Will it be enough though? I'm nervous. I'm getting goosebumps. This is exciting to me. These guys almost 2 seconds back. Matt O'Brien trying to drive it. Let's go back with him, see if he's saving. He's behind lap traffic right now. Will that affect him? Matt O'Brien, he is still not saving, not cutting off the engine like we're seeing out of our current leader of Andrew Wisdom.
Maybe he took less fuel on a previous stop, and maybe that's what the issue is. Maybe that's something that's going on. Maybe that's why he's the only driver who's in that position to have to save. But either way, just very, very interesting that he's the only guy out there doing that. Really want to know the reason why, but he has that lead, even if it's close, even if he's going to be close on fuel. He has that opportunity, given where he is with track position wise. He can come in anyway, and he won't lose that much because, again, it just doesn't seem like anyone else is on this strategy to try to make it to the checkered flag on this the same tank of fuel.
I'm watching these guys trying to make their way through traffic, and you can see just up to P3, they are over 5 seconds behind our leader, and that is on him saving. So really incredible run by Andrew Wisdom tonight as we have 8 to go. We're on board with Thomas Harmon sitting P3 right now. Fantastic run tonight. Jamie Haynes in 4th.
That is a gaggle of cars at the start-finish line right now. That the 17 of Matthew O'Brien has had to work through. Thomas Harmon well behind it, but that is a mix of cars off the lead lap, 1, 2, or more laps down. All 6 of those cars right now that are battling in that group on different agendas right now. Oh, they come together and almost wreck. Oh, they are gonna wreck. There they go. That's gonna be the yellow flag.
We'll see. I don't know.
It wasn't. Wow.
I gotta take a replay. The 24 hard into the wall. Sean Burke, the 84. Will they do a manual caution? We're gonna find out, but wow. Caution finally out, 5 to go. I see John Honeycutt involved. Let's take a look, see what happened with him here. Gets loose off corner, exit into the inside wall. Single car incident on that one, but man, Jordan, you know what this means. This changes everything.
This changes everything, and yeah, this is gonna make this race very interesting. Who is going to make a gamble here to try to take 2 tires? Surely everyone will go for 4 here. Somebody is going to do it. Somebody is going to try to take only rights, I feel like, but maybe not. Only 12 drivers were on the lead lap there, so not a lot of ground to gain if you're in the back. I really don't see any benefit. There aren't enough drivers out there to be on that strategy with you for it to end well if you try to take 2 tires here.
Yeah, not a lot of laps left here. Justin Mons going out of his pit stall. We're going to see where Andrew Wisdom gets out of his pit stall. You can see him coming back on track now, beating out Matt O'Brien. This is going to be so close. I don't even know what to think right now. Let me know in chat, who do you think has it? This is crazy. Absolutely changes everything. I gotta talk to Andrew Wisdom here. Let's bring him in here.
Exit line.
Andrew, I just kidnapped you. I'm sorry. It's Eliza in the booth. How you doing?
We're doing all right. That was a little bit unfortunate, though.
I kind of figured that you were not looking forward to that caution coming out. Man, oh man, what a run you had. We saw that you were saving. What's your thoughts going in on this restart?
Yeah, hopefully we have the short run speed to hold on to it here. That was the first time in my life I've ever attempted to clutch and coast and right foot brake. So that was an interesting experience. But yeah, I was hoping we could hold on. I think we had just enough and maybe about a lap to the good there if we would have held on to it. But I think we have pretty decent short run speed and we should have the clean air. So hopefully we can hold on to it.
Well, we'll see if you can sweep the race for this season, get 2 wins at Richmond. A lot of luck to you, and hopefully we'll see you after the race.
Hopefully, appreciate it.
All right, take it easy. You heard it there from Andrew Wisdom. Oh my goodness. Man, I'm nervous. I'm on the edge of my seat. I don't know what's going to happen. Andrew Wisdom, he seems relatively calm considering he's got the 17 of Matt O'Brien on the outside. These guys have just been having an incredible run here tonight, Jordan. Who do you think is going to win? I want to hear you.
As long as the 9 gets a clean restart, it's going to be real difficult for the 17, the 68 to be able to do for the 17 to be able to do anything with him. The 68, if he can anticipate what the 9 can do and get down into turn 1 good enough to do something with him, whether it's dive bomb him, get to his bumper, try to set up a pass coming off of turn 2 and hope that maybe he spins the tires coming off the corner. But it's really going to be difficult for the 17 to be able to hold serve with that 9 car. We've seen that the leader on the inside lane have that advantage pretty much the entire race long. It's gonna take either a super restart out of Matthew O'Brien or a mistake from Andrew Wisdom on this restart for the 9 to lose this lead, I believe.
Yeah, you got Andrew Wisdom going to be leading us off. Matt O'Brien in second. Thomas Harmon in third. Jamie Haynes fourth. Justin Mahans having an incredible run tonight in fifth. Cole Snyder in sixth. Jose Ruiz in seventh. Thomas Flitcroft in 8, and we got our back to green once again. We got Andrew Wisdom with a great start here. Matt O'Brien falling in directly behind Thomas Harmon in third, and these guys are off and moving. 2 laps to go. I think Jordan has nailed it. As long as he's got a good start, he's going to be all right.
The 17 of O'Brien was able to clear the 68 of Harmon, so good job through 1 and 2 to be able to hold on to second place there. But as they take the white flag, just not close enough to really be able to do anything with the 9 of Andrew Wisdom. He goes in there really high, trying to set up a nice run down the back straight, just not quite able to do anything with it as they head down into turn 3. Wisdom with a car length lead.
Yeah, Justin Mons trying to take over P4, but here comes our leader, Andrew Wisdom, and he's going to take the checkered flag at Richmond Raceway. What an incredible run for him. Matt O'Brien comes home in second. Thomas Harmon in third. Great run for him. And Justin Mons, impressive run for him tonight. After all he went through, this guy persevered and came back home in P5 here. Nice little nudge to the 9 car. Great job for these guys. All right, let's go ahead and get these guys in the booth. We'll let Andrew Wisdom celebrate an incredible run here tonight. Great win for him. Get Matt O'Brien in here. We'll try to find Thomas Harmon if he's around. What an incredible run, Andrew Wisdom. You brought it home. We heard from you right before that restart. You seem pretty confident, just trying to keep the car clean, and you brought it home as the winner, even with a late restart. Wow. Take us through. What were you thinking through with that final restart?
Send it as deep as possible without locking up the brakes. And I didn't do that very well. I actually kind of underdrove it, but it worked out. We got good corner exits, which I think just kept anybody from getting a run there, just kept the traction going. So happy to hang on to it. That was definitely 2 completely different races, I think. The first one was we were duking it out with the 42 all the way through and having to race it real hard. And this one I had to back off and try to save fuel for most of it. So it was kind of cool to sweep the track, but it felt like 2 completely different races.
I would definitely say so. And you got your teammate Matt O'Brien right behind you. So for Nitro Motorsports, a great night for you guys, but an incredible run for you sweeping the race for the season. I just got to say, congratulations. It was really fun watching you guys out there. And yeah, it was quite the battle all night.
Thank you. Hopefully we don't do too bad on the dirt next week, if that's where we end up going. So
it's, from the sounds of it, I think you guys are going to be on the dirt next week. So it's going to be a wild ride, to say the least. How are you feeling about that? Are you ready for it?
We did okay in the truck race there earlier in the season. I think I got second. I have no idea. These cars have so much more horsepower, and I don't know anything about dirt. So hopefully we can get maybe top 5 or top 10 out of it, but we'll see.
Well, this is going to give you a nice padding for points. But next week, I'm glad I'm in the booth. That's one of those tracks where you don't want me near the track.
I may have to join you guys if it goes too bad.
Well, congratulations to you once again on the win tonight. Phenomenal job.
Thank you.
All right, Jordan, you want to get it over to Mr. Matt O'Brien?
Yeah, here with Matthew O'Brien, started third, led a good portion of this race, comes home in second. Talk about your evening tonight here at Richmond Raceway.
It was pretty good. I used to suck. I used to be lost at this track, but last few races I've done here, I've kind of figured it out, and yeah, we led quite a bit there. But Andrew's just fast. I just He's got so much more speed on the short run than me. I just couldn't do anything. And then that last run was basically a cat and mouse game because if it went green all the way, I think we had enough fuel to finish, but I don't think we would have done a burnout. Whoever would have won. So, it was super close, and I like the last run before the green white checkered. I was like not even full throttle down the straightaways trying to save gas.
Yeah, that's what we were curious about in the booth. We noticed that Wisdom was clutching it in the corners, but everyone else was running pretty much 4,000, 5,000 RPM, normal RPMs through the corners. So you were still saving fuel just with a different technique then.
Yeah, no, I was letting so basically like 90% throttle down the straightaways, and then I was just letting off earlier that I'd coast into the braking zone, and then and we ended up having like the same amount of gallons when the caution came out. So
That is Matthew O'Brien. Was strong all night, running strategy. Ends up coming home in the second position. Back over to you, Eliza.
Thomas Harmon coming out, rounding out the top 3. He is the only non-playoff driver to hit the top 5. So congratulations to you on the run tonight. You already have a win this season. How was your race here tonight?
It started off a little slow because I got involved in that early wreck. I thought maybe I could fix the damage and be all right, but when it got that green look to it, the damage was just too much, and I had to take the fast repair and work my way through the field. I wanted to save fuel on that last run, but having to work your way through the field and save fuel is just not, they don't go hand in hand at all.
Well, it's been really fun watching you go through traffic and make your way up through the front. The battles that you guys were having were really fun to watch. And so I just got to say, Richmond, a pretty tough track out there, but you nailed it here tonight, brought home a top 3. So huge congratulations to you out there.
Thank you.
How do you feel about Bristol at Dirt? Will we see you out there, and how you think you're going to do?
I will actually not be here next week because I will be in Bristol for the race.
Oh, nice. Well, you have fun out there as we are going to be hitting the dirt track next week. We'll be thinking about you.
Sounds good. I'm glad I won't be there.
I'm glad I'm in the booth. But you guys, it was a fun race tonight here at Richmond Raceway. Second race of the playoffs next week. It will be the cutoff race at Bristol. And I think it is going to be dirt, so it's going to be a wild night. Only 12 will move on after Bristol. So make sure to tune in. Same time, same day, 8:30 p.m. Eastern time next Thursday. It's going to be a wild ride. I'm super excited. And Jordan, it's always fun with you.
Yep, definitely a fun night tonight. Much cleaner race than we had last week. Definitely a lot of green flag action, and ultimately Andrew Wisdom able to outpace the field and then survive a late restart to win tonight and add to his win total. And yeah, it was a fun race.
Absolutely. Thank you guys for tuning in and for cheering on the drivers. I know they appreciate it. We'll see you next week. Until then, you guys take it easy.